Hey everyone, today we're going to dig into something from the book Look Again that I think we've all felt. You know that feeling when something you absolutely love, your home, your partner, even your passion, just kind of starts to fade into the background? Well, why does that happen? Let's get into it. Okay, let's start with a feeling that's super relatable. Think about it. You land that amazing new job, you move into that dream apartment, or you start a brand new relationship and everything is just electric, right? But then little by little, that sparkle just fades. So what's the deal? Why does the honeymoon phase always have to end? Well, here's the thing, and it's a huge relief. It's not you. It's not your fault. It doesn't mean you're ungrateful or that things have gotten worse. Nope. The real culprit is something deep inside your brain. It's like a built-in autopilot that's been running the show this whole time. And this whole feeling, that fading sparkle, it's a totally universal human thing. And yep, you guessed it, scientists have a name for it. It's called habituation. And really, it just means our brains have this tendency to stop responding to anything that's constant. Think about the smell of your own house. You don't notice it, right? Or the ticking of a clock in the room. Or even the face of the person you see every single day. If it's always there, your brain basically learns to hit the delete button on it. The authors have this great comparison. It's like this optical illusion called Troxler's fading. If you just stare at one spot for a while, the stuff in your peripheral vision can literally just vanish. It's wild. But it's not just some cool party trick. It's the perfect metaphor for what our brain is doing all the time. The constant, familiar things in our lives, they just disappear from our awareness. Okay, so you might be thinking, why on earth would our brains be designed to do this? To ignore all the good stuff? Well, it turns out this autopilot has a really important and super ancient job to do. And this is where we get to the core paradox. Habituation is a total double-edged sword. On one hand, from an evolutionary perspective, it's brilliant. It's a lifesaver. It saves so much cognitive energy. By tuning out the feeling of your shirt on your back, your brain is free to notice a sudden threat, like a tiger jumping out of the bushes. But, and this is a big but, in our modern world, that same feature creates a massive problem: complacency. We start to take everything for granted: our health, our relationships, even our freedoms, just because they're always around. And this isn't just a small problem. This one little brain function messes with two huge and totally different areas of our lives. First, let's talk about our private lives. This is what explains the joy paradox. You know the deal. You get that big promotion, and for a week, you feel like you're on top of the world. But then it just becomes your job. Your happiness goes right back to where it was. This is what pushes us onto what psychologists call the hedonic treadmill. We're just constantly chasing the next new thing to get that same initial high. The book even argues this is part of what causes a midlife crisis. It's not necessarily about regret. It's because by midlife, we've just run out of a lot of firsts, and our brain is starving for something new. But it's not just personal. This spills over into our public lives too. This same brain wiring makes us terrible at noticing slow-moving dangers. I mean, it's the classic boiling frog story, right? We get used to things getting gradually worse, whether it's pollution or our freedoms slowly eroding. This creates something called a status quo bias, where we just assume that whatever is familiar must be what's best. And it gets even scarier. It makes us vulnerable to the illusory truth effect. If you hear a lie enough times, your brain starts to mistake that familiarity for truth. And that right there is the mic drop moment. Think about it. The exact same brain function that tunes out a ticking clock is what allows an entire society to tune out creeping corruption. It's an incredibly powerful and honestly, a pretty scary connection when you think about it. So, is that it? Are we just doomed to live on autopilot forever? No way. The good news is, just like we can habituate, we can also learn to dishabituate. We can literally, consciously shake our brains awake. Okay, strategy number 1 is called strategic intermittency, which sounds fancy, but the logic is actually super simple. For the good stuff, break it up. Seriously, take 2 separate 1-week vacations instead of one long 2-week trip. Why? Because you get 2 of those amazing first day of vacation highs. But for the bad stuff, do the exact opposite. Rip the Band-Aid off. Do all your tours in one go. That lets habituation kick in and numb the pain. If you keep taking breaks, you just feel that fresh wave of ugh every single time. All right, this next one is a beautiful little mental trick. They call it the George Bailey effect, named, of course, after the guy from the classic movie, It's a Wonderful Life.
And the beauty of this is you can fight that fading sparkle without actually having to lose anything. All you have to do is take a moment and genuinely really imagine your life without something you love. Maybe it's your partner, your home, your health. By simulating that loss in your mind, you kind of trick your brain into re-sparking that intense gratitude you felt when you first got it. And finally, a strategy that is so easy we can all start doing it today. Just seek out variety. It doesn't have to be some huge life change. Just take a different route to work. Try a kind of food you've never had. Listen to a totally new genre of music. Talk to somebody who's outside your usual bubble. Any little bit of diversity forces your brain to snap out of its routine and start paying attention again.
So when you put it all together, what's the big takeaway here? Really, it's a powerful call to action, a call to fight back against living your life on autopilot.
You know, a good life isn't about constant chaos and novelty, but it's not about being stuck in a rut either. It's about finding that perfect rhythm between the comfort of stability and the energizing jolt of disruption. We actually need both. And the power to consciously break that autopilot, the skill to really look again at the world that's right in front of you, that's something we can all learn. It's a skill we can practice. So I'm going to leave you with a question to chew on. What's one important, maybe even wonderful, thing in your life that you've kind of gotten used to? Or maybe what's a creeping problem that you've let your brain just tune out? And what are you going to do, maybe even starting today, to notice it again?